Hi there. Today I would like to highlight an article from the always excellent Moto IQ. It is an article which introduces a concept that I had previously not thought about, which is wheel camber compliance. Now, camber compliance is known from things like suspension bushings, where if you replace rubber bushings with harder plastic bushings or rose joints, then you remove the camber compliance. But I never actually thought about the deflection of the wheel itself as contributing to camber compliance. So for that, this was quite an eye-opening article. It is an article that's written by Billy Johnson, who is a pretty successful racing driver and development driver for the Ford Mustang GT350 and GT500, which from factory have the option of carbon fiber wheels as part of carbon fiber track pack, I believe. And I also happened to find Billy Johnson's YouTube channel. Unfortunately, there's not a huge amount of videos on his channel, but the videos which are there are all pretty good, so I definitely recommend checking that out. But anyway, back to the article. So the article starts with this plot from Carbon Revolution, the manufacturer of the carbon fiber wheels. What the spider chart is saying is that the carbon fiber wheel is basically superior to aluminum wheel in everything except cost. Now, probably true. Carbon fiber is, obviously a much superior material, but just very expensive and high end. So if you have the money, I definitely can believe that it's worth getting for your car, but it is something that is very niche and high end, and so I think for most enthusiasts, it's probably not an obvious choice. So from that point of view, I thought it was interesting to also compare between the ultra-lightweight, so probably aftermarket forged wheel, and the blue, so OEM forged wheel, so likely much heavier. So the first of all, let's start with a few concepts. There's strength and there's stiffness, and those are two different things. That's explained in the article as well. But if you think, but from an engineering background, stiffness is the slope of this elastic portion of the stress-strain curve. So that, first of all, the stress-strain curve, that is if you get a piece of material, you pull it on a machine until it breaks, and then the machine will provide you with a plot like this. And the stress-strain curve, so initially there you can see the stiffness of the material from the slope, and you will see the strength of the material as it reaches a peak. And the important thing is by forging, you can increase the strength, but you cannot increase the stiffness. So the importance of that is that if you start from, say, just a cheap cast wheel, and you go to a forged wheel, you can remove a lot of material and still keep the same overall strength of the wheel, because although you remove material, the material that you replaced it with in the forged wheel has a much higher strength. But unfortunately, you do take away stiffness because the forging process doesn't add stiffness. And so if you go from a heavy cast wheel to a light forged wheel, you do lose stiffness. Why is that interesting? So that is interesting when you start to think about things like tire wear. Now, the interesting thing from the article is that in terms of lap time benefit of the carbon fiber wheel, it was about 0.38 over a 54-second lap, but the test was only done for about 10 laps, and I think each time they start with a new tire, with new tires. So I actually suspect if they continued the testing for a longer stint, the benefit of the carbon fiber wheel might have actually shown up even more due to the tire wear, where in 10 laps I think the tire wear using the aluminium wheel was not bad. It was not sufficiently severe to actually show up a huge deal in terms of worse lap time. But where this was a real eye-opener for me is I think if you've seen some of my previous videos, you'll know that I've struggled quite a bit with tire wear on my Camaro. Now, the Camaro is a heavy and is a pretty heavy car, so tire wear is never going to be great. But then 2 to 3 track days for a set of tires does get pretty expensive. So it does prompt me to think, well, could I maybe go slightly slower, but have tires last a lot longer if I used a slightly stiffer but heavier wheel? Because the rims that I'm currently using are aftermarket Apex forged aluminium rims, which have very little material, so great in terms of low unsprung mass, but I can very much imagine the lack of camber, the lack of camber stiffness from the wheel contributing to the high tire wear, besides the amount of camber and potentially wrong tire pressures that I had. So I'm currently trying to optimize the camber and tire pressures as much as I want, as much as I can, along with the toe. But I do wonder whether going to a heavier wheel, though it'll maybe slow me down slightly in terms of lap time, whether that might cause it might help the tires last a lot longer through less camber compliance. Yeah, let me know what you think. Hope the video and the concept was interesting. Until next time.